Going into week 4, we now have 3 weeks of matchups and 3 weeks of data to get a feel of what's materializing right now in fantasy football. Whether you started 3-0 or 0-3, the basic principle when navigating the trade market is to buy in on usage and to sell high on past production. And today, I'll be breaking down my 3 biggest buys and my 2 biggest sells at the running back position entering week 4 of fantasy football, breaking down player trends and usage-related information to help you guys make some profit on the trade block. So if you guys enjoy, make sure you leave a like down below. Comment your biggest trade question in the comment section down below. And of course, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 40,000. Appreciate you guys for that continued support. But with that being said, let's get into it. All right, before I get into the official 5 players on this list, we start off with the anatomy of what makes a good running back buy sell, so that if you guys have trade questions moving forward, you kind of know the thought process as to how myself and Corey make these trades on a week-to-week basis. So the first thing we're doing is we're breaking down a player's usage and just how valuable the role is that they have on their offense. Second thing that we're breaking down is just how strong their offense represents. Are they the Chicago Bears? Are they the Kansas City Chiefs? Or are they on an offense somewhere in between? Once you have these 2 factors, you then look at the factors, you look at how strong the offense is, you look at how strong the role is, and you determine just what bucket of running back they fall into. Are they an RB1, RB2, RB3, and what exactly is their implied value? If something were to happen tomorrow, do they have the opportunity to be a top 5 running back rest of the season, top 12 running back rest of the season? Is there upside in RB2? You break down all of these factors for every single running back based off their workload, their offense, and their projectable ceiling, and then you figure out just exactly where you personally would bucket them on your rest of season rankings. And from there, once you have how you evaluate these guys, then you'll understand what are the biggest discrepancies between where you have a player versus where your league values them. And once you have these factors all sorted out, then you know who you need to be buying low and who you need to be selling high. But moving off the anatomy of what makes a good buy sell, we head on to the first player of the video, and that's going to be Bijan Robinson, running back of the Atlanta Falcons. His current market expectation is that he's a mid-end running back, one in a committee. My current expectation is that he's a top 2 running back for the rest of the season. And the reason why he's listed in this video is that I don't think the market simply understands what Bijan Robinson is about to do in fantasy football. If I could go back up to you in 2018, let's say Saquon Barkley played his first 3 games, averaged 17 points per game in his first 3 games in 2018. If I were to go up to you and say, hey, listen, you want to buy in on Saquon Barkley the rest of the season? What would you be willing to pay for Saquon Barkley? Top 2 prices, top 3 prices, top 4 prices, because I do think that's what it would cost to take Saquon Barkley on your team in 2018, and that's exactly how I feel about Bijan Robinson moving forward. He's currently the RB7 in fantasy, and people are, worried that Tyler Algier is going to get, these crazy amount of snaps moving forward, but we've already seen Bijan Robinson take the steps needed to become a bell cow in this backfield. From taking only 65% of the snaps and 38% of the rushing attempts in week 1, we saw in week 3 him get legit bell cow usage. 80% of the snaps, 56% of the rushing attempts, on top of already garnering an elite row participation at 70% each and every game so far to start his career. He leads all running backs in receptions, he's 3rd in targets, and he leads all running backs in terms of receiving yards. Once his carry totals jump up, like he's currently only averaging 13 carries per game right now, once that enters the 15 carry, 16 carry, 17 plus carry per game threshold, we could be looking at a legendary RB1 overall upside ceiling here. The only running back I will allow you to have in your rest of season rankings over Bijan Robinson is Christian McCaffrey. Again, I prefer Bijan, but if you want McCaffrey, that is the only other running back I think with this high of a ceiling in fantasy this year. The fact that his current workload is already getting him to mid-range running back 1 status, averaging nearly 18 points per game, can you just imagine once he gets to that 22, 23 opportunity per game threshold, we're looking at 21, 22 plus PPR points per game. And in terms of deals I would be looking to get Bijan Robinson for right now, it would typically be in a 2-for-1, 3-for-2 level fashion. So this first deal right off the bat, Bijan Robinson and Chris Olave in exchange for Amon-Ra St. Brown, Ramondre Stevenson, and Tyler Algier. If you can get something like this done because Bijan Robinson is viewed as, a mid-end RB1, somebody's high on Amon-Ra St. Brown, you can make this type of transition. Give me the league-winning profile at running back that Bijan represents. Next deal here, I doubt you're going to be able to get Cousins and Kamara, but that's the type of same format I'd be looking to do. Maybe to cost you like Tua Tagovailoa and Raheem Mostert, which we'll get into in a second. I would be willing to go up and get a guy like Bijan Robinson. This next deal, TJ Hawkinson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Rashad White in exchange for Bijan Robinson, Cortland Sutton, and Kyle Pitts. Give me the Bijan Robinson side with ease here as well. And then finally, I just want to mention this because this is absolutely ridiculous. If you're in this type of league that's this reactionary and you can currently sell a guy like Puka Nacua, maybe it costs you a plus to go and get Bijan Robinson, go out there and make this type of deal. The second buy low of today's video is Travis Etienne, running back of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And similar to Bijan Robinson, I understand he will not be cheap if you're trying to acquire him, but his current market expectation is a low-end running back 1. My current expectation is that he's a top 5 running back for the rest of the season. And with Travis Etienne, he's currently averaging 20.7 opportunities per game on an offense that I think will start paying off in a big way. Yes, I understand the last 2 weeks, an absolute train wreck. 26 points in the last 2 weeks is not sustainable moving forward for, like I said, a really good offense, really good play caller, and a top 5 to 8 quarterback, in my opinion, with Trevor Lawrence manning the field. And he's the same elite efficiency running back we've seen in the past. We were praying last year, is Travis Etienne going to get a workhorse role? Is Travis Etienne going to get a workhorse role? He finally has a workhorse role, and yet people are not valuing him the way he should be. He's currently the running back 10 overall in fantasy, but it feels incredibly cheap if you're trying to go out and buy him right now. Some of these trades are just absolutely hilarious to look at. I doubt you'll be able to get him for, Michael Thomas and Anthony Richardson, but if that's available, obviously go and do that. This type of deal, yes, it hurts giving up Tyreek Hill, but especially if you're in a deeper league and you need a running back, I don't mind in theory basically flipping Tyreek Hill in exchange for Deebo Samuel and Travis Etienne in this deal. This next deal, Joe Mixon and Joe Burrow in exchange for Travis Etienne. Give me Travis Etienne. And then finally, this last deal, Joe Mixon and Tua Tagovailoa for Travis Etienne and Deshaun Watson. All sides in these deals that I would much prefer Travis Etienne, except for maybe the Tyreek one. If you're in a shallower league, I understand the Tyreek side, but I do like if you're in a deeper league and you need a running back, taking your Tyreek Hill and turning him into Travis Etienne and Deebo Samuel. My third buy low of the video is going to be Roschon Johnson, running back of the Chicago Bears. His current market expectation is that he's this low-end RB3 with implied RB2 upside should he take over the backfield, but my expectation is that he's a mid-end running back 3 with implied RB2 upside when he takes over the backfield. And I guess this would be the true buy low of the video. Obviously, I mentioned, 2 buy high guys with Etienne and Bijan Robinson, but I do think you can get Roschon Johnson for a relatively good deal right now, considering the fact that he's been outside of the top 30 running backs each of the last 2 weeks. He's poised to break out moving forward, and he has the chance, in my opinion, to be a strong top 15 to 20 running back once he usurps Khalil Herbert. And my take here is that it's not a matter of if he supplants him, it's a matter of when he does, because we've seen each and every week Roschon Johnson's value go up and up and up based off the usage in his offense. In week 1, this was a 3-way committee: Khalil Herbert, Roschon Johnson, and Deontay Foreman taking snaps and taking carries for this team. But we saw that in weeks 2 and 3, this has already converted into a 2-way committee, and Roschon has seen an uptick in his snap and rushing share every single game this year. And while his touch counts haven't been there quite yet, he's shown he can be an efficient running back between the tackles, and he's also shown the ability to work on third down with a 28% targets per route run rate this year. And I think he's more of a guy you trade for if you're ahead of the count, whether 3-0 or you're 2-1, because while his immediate production value should be more in that RB 25 to 35 range, I think the day he receives 50+% of the groundwork and maintains this receiving role he currently has, he has top 15 to 20 upside. So in terms of some of the trades I see on the market for him right now, this one right here, Deshaun Watson, Dawson Knox in exchange for Roschon and Justin Fields. Give me the Bears in this package. Second one here, Roschon Johnson and Khalil Herbert for Marquise Brown. I would much rather the ceiling of Roschon Johnson in this instance. Next deal here, basically moving off of Justin Jefferson to Tyreek Hill and packaging Roschon Johnson. Yes, I would prefer Justin Jefferson to Tyreek Hill, but I do think they are the same tier at the top of the fantasy landscape. So packaging a running back with upside like Roschon Johnson on top of Tyreek Hill, I think is a very smart play to do. And then finally, this last deal here, packaging Cortland Sutton and Dameon Pierce and going out and getting Roschon and Jalen Waddle. I don't know how realistic this is going to be in your league. Either way, give me the Roschon Johnson side in this package. But moving on to the first sell high of the video, we have Raheem Mostert, running back of the Miami Dolphins. His current market expectation is that he's an RB2 with RB1 upside on the best offense in the NFL. My current expectation is that he's an RB2 who will be ceding work to Devon Achane. and potentially Jeff Wilson once he comes back from the PUP list. And this isn't me calling Raheem Mostert a bad football player. Like, his pros are clear. He's a very efficient running back on the best offense in football right now with Miami. But I'm here to give you all the hard truth. And given the fact that Mostert is currently the running back one in fantasy land, this truth is that there is no bigger sell on the market right now than Raheem Mostert. His opportunity share is already on a clear downward trajectory moving forward. Devon Achane looked phenomenal in his second career game. And there's absolutely no reason for the Dolphins and Mike McDaniel to give Mostert a bell cow role when you have a running back you selected on day 2 that's capable of putting up 233 yards from scrimmage on 22 touches behind him. And Achane saw his snap share increase dramatically from weeks 2 to 3. And I get it. Some of you may argue back, well, they were blowing out Denver. It was a 70-20 game. Why wouldn't the backup running back get in? Do we really think he becomes the full-on backup running back after what he put on display in his second career game? 233 yards for scrimmage on 22 touches. Very efficient. 4 touchdowns. Do we really think Devon Achane is going to go back to being an 8% snap share player? Because if you do, maybe you don't sell Raheem Mostert. But for me, I just think it's a certainty that Devon Achane will be more involved moving forward. And on top of that, I don't think your committee concerns stop at Devon Achane. Jeff Wilson is also slated to come back from the PUP after week 4. I don't believe he's going to work ahead of either Mostert or Achane in this backfield, but we did see a sample size last year where Jeff Wilson was the running back one for the Dolphins. Once they traded for him, he was getting nearly 17 opportunities per game. For reference, in games that he suited up, Mostert only saw 17 touches in 1 game. And maybe things do change given how efficient Mostert's been to start the year and with Jeff Wilson coming off of an injury. But for his current market value, it's absolutely foolish not to sell him with that fear in hand. Even if it ends up having absolutely no impact on Raheem Mostert, his market value takes a plummet once he's not an RB1 and once the words 3-man committee get brought up. So some of these deals, man, you can absolutely sell high dramatically on Raheem Mostert. Like, if somebody's selling Bijan Robinson for Mostert and Goff, obviously you're doing that. Mostert for Gibbs straight up, absolute heartbeat level move. Courtland Sutton and Mark Andrews, I would prefer over Mostert and Njoku. Give me the tight end advantage there. Brandon Ayuk is someone I would also rather have over Raheem Mostert for the rest of the season. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase in a package, Tony Pollard if you can somehow net him. Like, you can sell Raheem Mostert because he has that RB1 label next to him in terms of his production. And these deals are legit, man. They're from the Yahoo trade market. People have been able to make these deals because other people in their league see that he's the RB1 in fantasy and want to go buy in on that guy. So if you can get guys like Bijan, McCaffrey, Pollard, maybe not McCaffrey, but Pollard, Jamar Chase, elite difference-making players for the rest of the season for Raheem Mostert or even a little bit of a plus, go out and do it right now. And the final sell high of today's video is actually Kenneth Walker, running back of the Seattle Seahawks. Current market expectation is that he's a top 5 running back coming off a 30-point game this week. My expectation is that he's a back-end running back one rest of the season that may see more work to Zach Charbonnet going forward. He's another player that I love. I think he's this great running back. I think he's very efficient. I love watching him play football. But the bet currently on his workload hitting a top 5 level, never mind even the RB3 overall in fantasy, is not a good one to make. And for starters, even if we were to have this dominant rushing share, the receiving involvement is concerning. And somebody may point to the fact, yeah, he had 3 catches, 59 yards. He must be involved as a receiver, right? The fact that he only ran 26% of the team routes and hasn't posted a double-digit target share since week 1 is really concerning for me, especially with Zach Charbonnet breathing down his neck, like I said. It'd be okay for him if he had a mid-end running back one profile, if he was just simply this bell cow running back. We've seen Nick Chubb do it in the past. We've seen Derrick Henry do it in the past where they don't really need a ton of receiving work, but because they dominate the groundwork, they get there at the end of the day. That's not even available now with Zach Charbonnet in the fold. We've seen Kenneth Walker's snaps drop dramatically from weeks 1 to 3. 65% share of the snaps and 71% share of the rushing attempts in week 1. Both of those figures dropped dramatically, 49% and 55% respectively in week 3. As Zach Charbonnet gets healthier, as he gets more in the fold, they have an early bye week, so you should expect more work for Charbonnet after their bye week as well. I'm a little bit concerned here. I'm not saying he can't be a top, 10 to 15 running back, but his current market can fetch you a lot more than that. And the 2 big-time buying opportunities I'm looking all over right now are the first 2 guys I mentioned in this video. Can you shop Kenneth Walker plus a small piece, get up to Bijan Robinson? Can you shop Kenneth Walker straight up for Travis Etienne right now? I think that's an available trade you should be able to do in your league right now, even if you had to add a little bit. And there are 2 running backs I would much prefer to Kenneth Walker moving forward. Can you shift Kenneth Walker, Jared Goff, and Chris Olave into Tony Pollard, Brendan Ayuk, and Zay Flowers? Can you shift Kenneth Walker, Gabe Davis, and George Pickens into Jamar Chase and Javonte Williams? Can you shift Kenneth Walker, Calvin Ridley into the Diggs Allen stack. These deals are absolutely phenomenal sell high opportunities because, like I said, Kenneth Walker does not have a profile that historically hits at a top 5 rate, and he's currently being valued as so. But either way, if you guys enjoyed, like I always say, make sure you leave a like, comment your big trade questions, and subscribe to the channel. And also, if you guys want to check out our weekly and rest of season rankings, I alluded to the fact that Bijan Robinson's the top 2 running back for me moving forward. I alluded to the fact that Travis Etienne's a top 5 running back for me moving forward. If you want to see where these guys rank in conjunction with their peers, along with all of our full top 200s, make sure you go check it out in one of 2 ways. The first way, if you guys go over to Underdog Fantasy, deposit $10 and use promo code FSC, you will get 100% match back on your first deposit up to $100, as well as full access to both our weekly rankings manifesto and our rest of season rankings manifesto. So don't miss out on that. The other way to get it is by going over to Flock Fantasy and using promo code FSC for 30% off of either package. Whether you want to become a flocker or a mother flocker, go over to flockfantasy.com and use promo code FSC. That is the one thing you have to make sure you do, and you will have access to both of our rankings moving forward. But with that being said, peace out. Good luck in your week 4 matchups.